really unique weapons that they fit on. So that's going to be something possibly for another video, or just, you know, just something to push to the side for now. So, to keep things rolling, let's start off on the topic of the laser sight. Now, like all items in the rail slot, it comes with a fairly pricey 100 certs cost, and can be purchased again on certain weapons only to upgrade it to an advanced laser sight, which will cost an extra 100 certs to the total cost. Now, the laser sight comes with the advantage of tightening your hipfire cone of fire to be more accurate, and therefore allows the hipfire on certain weapons to be reliable at extended distances, or to become reliable in the first place. Now, from what I've been able to find, the standard laser sight tightens the weapon's hipfire cone of fire by 37.5%, with the advanced laser sight tightening the cone of fire by 50%. However, since the January patch, which has tweaked the laser sight slightly, I believe that the laser sight benefits actually differentiate between the weapons, but the numbers stated before do provide a benchmark and or a reference point for us to look at. Now, the primary and only disadvantage that results from equipping a laser sight is that a big red laser will appear out of your weapon in front of you, making you a much more noticeable target in some cases, especially at night times. However, in this footage, you may be thinking that I am not using a laser sight. Well, the truth is that I am, and I am still reaping the full benefits of what the laser sight would provide in a very sneaky way. In PlanetSide 2, you can utilize the full advantage of a laser sight and turn it off at the same time, allowing for you to remain with the visual profile that you would have had before, which does build me onto my first grudge about these attachments. Now, I know for a fact that my next statement will make a few people unhappy with me for sure. Nevertheless, in my eyes, when the laser sight is turned off by the player to reduce their presence, the laser sight should no longer have a hipfire effect, or should no longer give a hipfire advantage. If a player chooses to mount an attachment that gives them an upgrade, then they should have to go through the risk of being spotted easier, instead of being able to hide the new CQC advantage from possible foes, which in turn removes the ability for a hostile to counter the advantages of the laser sight, or to take advantage of the expanded visual profile. This will not only ensure that the laser sight becomes a more situational tool to the arsenal, where the players will wonder whether they are willing to take into combat an attachment that will light them up a little bit easier, or even whether to turn it on or off during combat, but it will also return some immersion on the user end, as mounting an attachment to a weapon and turning it off and then still keeping the advantage just doesn't seem that right to me, and in some cases just does not seem balanced. However, ranting well on enough about the laser sight, now moving on, we have the forward grip, which is much like the laser sight and can be upgraded to a more effective advanced forward grip on selected weapons, costing an additional 100 certs. Now, over the course of the game being released, there has been much confusion behind the functions of the forward grip, as it only says in the description that it reduces the severity of horizontal recoil, except that there are many factors behind horizontal recoil that builds it up, which therefore leaves its effects relatively vague. Now, from some testing in the VR room, it would appear that the forward grip provides a small extra bit of controllability on all fronts, including the horizontal shift and the recoil angle severity and unpredictability. To translate, this means that upon equipping the forward grip, the weapon should kick less with left and right shake, and should have a more upwards force as opposed to a horizontal force. Just really quickly here, I'm going to provide a few comparisons of testing for the forward grips among multiple weapons, just to give you guys some perspective as to what the comparison is between weapons with a forward grip and without a forward grip.
Right. So,
however, the forward grip does come with a built-in disadvantage that is relatively subtle, yet noticeable once discovered. When the forward grip is equipped, it takes a tad longer to equip the weapon as opposed to not having a forward grip at all, and therefore I find the forward grip to be a prime example of what the balancing behind the rail attachments should be in this game. It provides an accuracy bonus but hurts a certain factor of your weapon's properties, potentially making you question the need speed to be more accurate over the need to change through your gear fast, especially on supportive like classes where the combat medic and engineer class can be found switching through their loadouts relatively often, and even on heavy assaults where they have to switch from their rocket launcher to their light machine guns relatively quickly. Do you really want to slow down your equip time even further by chucking on a forward grip, or do you prefer to have that added accuracy that the forward grip provides? It's all up to you, and that's the kind of side grade that I like to see in attachments, especially in most video games. However, keeping the ball rolling, let's move on to the extended magazine attachment. Now, the extended magazines are exactly what they sound like. They give you the ability to house more rounds in a magazine, which ultimately leads to the need to reload less often. Now, this in turn builds on a player's ability to either lock down an area, choke point, or capture point for extended periods of time, or to become an assaulting force that does not need downtime, as they can just keep on laying down fire and pushing an enemy back. Now, my primary issue with the extended magazine is that it currently has no downside to using it, and doesn't in any way create a niche for a weapon that utilizes the attachment. It only incorporates a straight upgrade. However, the main issue with the extended magazine is that it's a little bit more difficult to apply a countermeasure to, as it comes with a wide variety of weapons, but has a differentiating effect on each when it comes to severity. For example, an LMG with extended magazines may net an extra 100 rounds per magazine, but a shotgun will only net an extra 4 rounds a magazine. So therefore, after much contemplation and brainstorming and all of the above, I came to an idea that I thought would somewhat suit the extended magazine role, but would not affect assault-based weaponry like the shotguns. In my opinion, the extended magazines should reduce the aiming down sight movement multiplier by a certain amount depending on the weapon that is being utilized. What this in turn does is it ensures that people whom are using this attachment aren't going to be able to lay down rounds into an area whilst on the move fast, as the weapon from a realistic sense is going to be much heavier, and therefore should leave you to be slower when on the move attempting mobile aimed fire, if you get what I mean. Now, to build on this, someone rolling the extended magazines should be taking up a role of suppression fire and crowd control, so they should be setting up in a position and then moving through to just laying down rounds on both an offensive and a defensive sense. Now, as you may have figured by now, I am slamming the light machine guns and the T7 chain guns specifically, as in my opinion, a weapon with 200 rounds should not be able, or should not be capable, of moving, firing, and doing so accurately and at a speed that the assault rifles in the game can. So, the hipfire nerfs have already hurt these weapons in the form of doing the combination while hipfiring, but in my opinion, the aiming down sight movement speed should also receive a hit to characterize the role of the extended magazines a little bit more. The shotguns won't be affected by this as often, and so won't the SMGs, as they are primarily hipfire weapons and don't benefit as much from the attachment, so it's kind of a win-win situation in that case. And last but certainly not least, we have the Darklight flashlight, which from the day it was brought into PlanetSide 2 has been considered a useless attachment, with no primary purpose other than being a walking beacon. Now, I was in all honesty a flashlight avoider for a good amount of time, right up until the flashlight was transformed into the Darklight flashlight with the iteration of the Infiltrator update to counter the newly implemented Stalker Cloak. The Darklight is another example of a perfect rail attachment that provides a benefit along with a negative, making it very situational. It gives you the ability to see a little easier in darker environments and light up or highlight cloaked infiltrators, much like how friendly infiltrators are outlined by a haze color to your corresponding empire. On the flip side, you as a player become much more noticeable as you wander around the battlefield with the second sun in your hands, requiring you to definitely think about turning it off every once in a while. This again is a great example of an attachment with some merits but some valid drawbacks, making it a very situational gear item but not a go-to gear choice. And guys, with all that said, it's time to wrap up today's video. I do hope you guys found today's video enjoyable and or informative enough, and I hope I could shed some light on the rail attachments. It was just a little bit more of an opinionated based video today, but I do hope you guys found it enjoyable nevertheless. If you did, please make sure to backhand that like button, guys. It is greatly appreciated. And if you enjoyed today's content and if you are new here...
Alright, and that was Kamikaze78. He makes a ton of videos like that, so if you're interested in that type of thing, definitely check it out. I will post a link in chat here for those of you who are hanging out and watching. Give me one moment. Oh yeah, there we go. Rail Attachment Thoughts by Kamikaze78. For those of you watching this as a recap and don't have the access to the linkage, if you're not watching this live, you should definitely come watch it live. Our next video is going to be another one of those tips videos, and then we have a few after that that are a little bit more fun and less informative in that sense. But I'm going to go ahead and play that, and give me one more second. Here we go. Enjoy!
No man, I'm not coming to Esamir. They're reaching to A point with help. Sorry, grammar.
Deploy the SAMC, please.
I'm alone on A. No!
Killing spree.
Spotted. Spotted a hostile engineer.
Real dead. You think you good. Freaking custom. Dominating.
Four tanks at NS refinery. Could use the Vanguard from the warp gate. I'm on D point, I need help. No!
That was the one, the only Mukas, and he does a lot of videos. I'm going to toss the link in chat for those of you who want to go check out that Light Assault video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and he's going to continue to make more of them, so maybe give him a comment in the comment section if you have any suggestions on what you'd like to see him do. So this next thing is going to be, I know you guys are all like, oh, NC. Now we're going to do some TR action, okay? And this is from Zorn the Bear. We've had him on the show a couple times here, usually about other stuff, but he also makes all kinds of videos regarding weapons and whatnot, so I'm going to play a video that he created about that.
Welcome Today, we will look into the Terran Republic's carbine, the T5 AMC. The T5 is a low recoil carbine designed to lay down consistent, accurate fire at medium ranges. Due to this, however, it suffers in the long and close range engagements. But its low recoil and high muzzle velocity does make up for its downsides, with its lower price point of 500 station cash or 250 certification points. With the low recoil, makes it a very attractive weapon to add to your arsenal. With all that said though, let's dive straight into this weapon's statistics and see if it's even worth it. To begin with the weapon's damage, it's average. Staying with the Terran Republic carbine template of 143 bullet damage in the 1 to 10 meter range and 112 bullet damage at 65 meters. With this damage, it'll take you 7 shots to the body to kill your target, or 4 shots to the head. At the 65 meter range, it'll take around 10 body shots or 5 headshots to drop your target. Now, if we take the default heavy assault shield into account, it'll take about 12 body shots up close to drop a max ranked nanite mesh generator overshield. Paired with nanoweave, it'll take 14. Nanoweave by itself will only take about 9, so adding 2 bullets for max ranked nanoweave for the other classes will apply here. Headshots aren't generally affected by nanoweave, so no change there. Going toe-to-toe with defensible enemies may not be the best choice with this gun. Try to avoid engaging heavy assaults using their overshields or targets you do not have a comfortable bead on or will be able to lead them throughout their entire lifespan, especially at closer ranges, as your enemies will more than likely be equipped with weapons more suitable for close range fighting. It's best to aim for the heads in those certain ranges. For longer ranges, LMGs and assault rifles can go toe-to-toe with you in terms of damage, or even outclass you at times. But the T5 AMC's traits help keep it highly competitive in this field. The weapon's rate of fire is low compared to the other Terran Republic carbines, being at 652. In fact, it has the lowest compared to all of them, the Trank 5S being one of the closest to it at 698 RPM. This doesn't make it bad, however, as most of the other faction carbines average around this level, so the T5 AMC still pulls ahead with its faction trait of fast rate of fire. Its muzzle velocity, however, is high when compared to the other carbines, and gives this weapon the edge it needs for those medium range engagements. Leading will be around 2 mil dots when engaging medium range opponents if you're looking down at 6x scope. Closer ranges, you'll still need to lead a meter or 2 ahead of your opponent if they are running along horizontally. This weapon also sports 2 fire modes, full auto and semi-auto. I've found myself firing in bursts of 5 for medium and long engagements. For close ranges, I felt comfortable holding down the trigger in full auto mode. The single fire mode never had enough output for me to drop my targets quickly, so I never stuck with it enough, as with enough practice, you can burst fire your weapon while in full auto mode, and you will find yourself having far better results doing that than going semi-auto. The weapon's hipfire, however, is actually pretty good. The cone of fire bloom and accuracy is very stable and accurate when walking or standing, but running and jumping will obviously harm your accuracy by a lot. Its effectiveness in terms of damage, though, is low, with its low rate of fire paired with its 143 bullet damage taking down full health targets, especially when going toe-to-toe with them, even and also as a heavy assault, will not yield very good results. In fact, I would avoid hip firing with this weapon entirely if possible, and just aim down sights and go for headshots. The weapon's recoil is very stable, possibly one of the most controllable weapons inside the game. The recoil will send bullets to the top right, but dragging your mouse to the bottom left slightly will help keep your aim steady. It is still recommended to burst fire this weapon at medium and long ranges though. I felt comfortable around 8 to 10 rapid bursts in medium ranges, and thanks to Drathamus Gaming's suggestion, I found 5-round bursts for those longer range targets to be the right amount to lay down consistent fire on the long range targets. As for the weapon aim down sight speed, it's sadly slow, being 0.50, which is half of your normal walking speed. With this in mind, its effectiveness in closer ranges is lowered, as strafing left and right against your opponent is quite helpful to throw off your enemy's aim. So once again, be careful in those close ranges. Its magazine capacity is good. Holding 40 bullets inside the magazine, you're able to make some mistakes and miss, and challenge multiple targets without the fear of reloading mid-fight. You'll have some ammo to spare for a single mission, with 240 bullets for the ammo pool. You won't need to run back for ammo during a heated firefight that often. Its reload speed is also good. Comparing this weapon with its TR carbine brethren, it is the fastest reload speed compared to them all, being 2.26 when barely any shot has been fired, to 3.13 when the magazine has been completely emptied. This speed is enough to duck behind cover and get a quick reload in, but not fast enough to do during a firefight even though you're doing some fancy footwork to avoid getting shot. It is best to find a safe place to reload before re-engaging your enemy, as you don't want to run into a well-protected enemy with only 10 rounds left, as shielded enemies will be able to tank that damage and finish you off, as you try to resort to your pistol. But most of the stats can be adjusted and improved upon with the certification attachments, and here are some I recommend for this weapon. To start off with the certifications, we will start with the recommended scopes. I personally ran with the infrared night vision scope for general use. The downside to this is unable to see infiltrators while scoped, but your enemies are highlighted in white. Alternatively, I use the MH2 reflex sight, which has a 2x zoom. For some of the close quarters engagements I found myself being in with this weapon, mainly to help with seeing cloaked infiltrators, as the IR&V scope didn't allow that option, and the 2x zoom assisted me with those medium range targets and allowed me to see them better. For the longer range, I used the 6x S3 scope, thanks to Drathamus Gaming's suggestion. Surprisingly, it worked fairly well when engaging longer range targets. Due to the weapon's controllable recoil, I was able to burst fire enemies comfortably, even in some cases going full auto and landing some shots. So I definitely recommend these three. But of course, you do have your 1x, 2x, 3x, a 4x, and one 6x scope. For the barrel attachments, I went with a compensator. It helps paired with some of the other attachments to control the weapon's recoil even more. The downside, however, is that you will be revealed on the minimap farther away, and your hip fire, cone of fire, is going to be more wild than before. The alternative is the suppressor. Now, I personally didn't go with this attachment, as I generally didn't aim for stealth in my build, but for those needing to hide on top of a tree or other high places to fire down upon the enemy, I highly recommend getting this, as you can sacrifice the compensator for this, as the change is not very significant, especially when you need a cone of fire or just normally hit fire somebody if you need to respond quickly. So definitely I recommend the suppressor if you're trying to be a little bit more sneaky, but if you're in a big battle, you won't have to worry about that too much. For the rail slot, I went with the second level of the forward grip, which is the advanced forward grip. This helped greatly to lower the weapon's reach further, considering the weapon's high time to kill compared to the weapons out there. This will help give you the edge in medium ranges, and if aiming for headshots, this will help make it more of a guaranteed shot and not let the recoil mess you up at all. Alternatively, there is the laser sight and the Darklight flashlight. The laser sight could potentially be used for more hipfire minded players, but the role of the gun is for those medium range encounters, and the more that you can make that better, the more encouraged it is to get stuff like the forward grip and the compensator. And the Darklight flashlight will reveal your position to other players due to having a giant shoot me sign on your gun. The advantage of that, though, is that it'll reveal cloaked infiltrators. So I do not recommend the laser sight or the Darklight flashlight, but I highly recommend the forward grip. as it'll definitely improve your gunplay, make you more accurate, and you'll have a lot of fun with this gun. But speaking of fun, let's talk about its upsides and its downsides of the general gunplay with this gun. One of the major upsides with this gun, and one of its major traits, is it's excellent for medium range due to its low recoil. Because the recoil just by default is excellent, it makes it fairly accurate for those medium ranges compared to some of the other weapons out there, which have very high recoil, and you really have to build the weapon certifications around controlling that recoil. As the lower recoil the gun is, the more easier it is to rely on your skill for the weapon instead of the gun itself throwing you off, as some people do have trouble with it. One of the bad things though, even though you're highly accurate, your time to kill is a bit higher than most. Now this means that it takes a little bit longer than average to pretty much drop your opponent quickly. Compared to some carbines, when people have gotten used to their recoil, they will be able to drop you faster than you them. Of course, that is going against very experienced players. But also going against heavy assault specifically, which is a highlight in this video, to be warned against. That going against heavy assaults, especially with shields and nanoweave and even other players who have gone into a defensive mindset with their attachments and certifications, you will be having some trouble compared to some of your other weapons that you could have taken. This is mainly for those medium range battles and those open fields to where you're comfortable with hitting people and knowing they will not directly go against you. In those close range engagements, you will also see that you can actually be fairly accurate in that case. A lot of weapons try to rely on their hipfire cone of fire, but one of the high traits with this weapon is that it's really accurate as well. The cone of fire for hip firing and aiming down sights is spot on, basically making this a laser when built to make that recoil as low as possible. The cone of fire bloom does not expand so fast to where it's out of control, and even just rapid firing or rapid burst firing, as soon as you finish with 10, immediately stop and refire again, will help keep a constant laser stream of bullets towards your target, which is highly recommended to do with this weapon. But with all that said though, I hope this video helped you out if you were interested in the weapon or just wanted to learn a little bit more about it. And if it did, please leave a comment down in the boxes below and telling me if it helped you or not, if you have any tips and tricks that I may have missed, or any other information a potential buyer of this weapon.
Alright. And that was a fantastic video by Zorn the Bear. We've had him on the show a few times. If you want to go give that a thumbs up, go to T5 AMC Weapon Overview by Zorn the Bear. And if you're watching this live, there's a link right there. Handy dandy links. Yay! And he makes a lot of videos, all kinds of really fun ones. I think his Be Less Derp series is really funny. He makes some kind of like machinima style videos if you're into that. So he really has a palette for everyone if you want to check out his videos. And I know that he kind of does that for a living. So if you want to give him a thumbs up, that will be super helpful. So this next video, you have actually heard this in multiple other videos that we've shown tonight. And it is the Recursion stat tracker. It is fantastic. You guys should all check it out. But I'm going to play their teaser video and so you guys can see what it's all about. Basically, they have a voice overlay. They also have stat overlays. And it's just a good product all around.
Headshot. Headshot. Killing spree. Headshot. Dominating. Killing spree. PlanetSide. Double kill. Triple kill. Killing spree. Double kill. Triple kill. Multi-kill. Ultra kill. Monster kill.
And that is the Recursion stat tracker, and you guys can go to real-time stat tracker teaser if you want to check out the video and give it a thumbs up. If you're watching it live, go ahead there. And I'm also going to tell you the link of where you can get it, which is recursion or tracker.recursion, and it is, let me go here really quickly so I can make sure, .tk, I believe. Yes, so go ahead and download that. It's pretty fun to play around with, and you don't have to have the stats up there if you don't want to. You can just have the audio if that's all you want to play, and there's a lot of little things that you can do with it, which are pretty cool. And our next thing is going to be for all of you pilots out there. If you are into flying and you want to learn how to do the reverse maneuver or barrel roll of sorts, this is going to be the video for you. So stay tuned and check it out. Here we go.
Hey everybody, Puncture Mercenary back with a quick tutorial on the barrel roll reverse maneuver. Now, it's not much to it, it's pretty simple, but has a lot of good uses. First thing first is, if you don't have your barrel roll key assigned to anything on your keyboard, it helps a lot, so I would recommend assigning it to something. I have mine assigned to G, and it just allows you to do a perfect barrel roll. Because if you try to do it with your mouse, by sliding right, you can see it's definitely a lot harder. So, to do the basic barrel roll, and just to go backwards, all you gotta do is hold your key until your belly's up, and then pitch down. And there you can go ahead and turn around 180 degrees. And basically, you do that, and then you can just combine it with the reverse maneuver, and you got the barrel roll reverse maneuver. So I'll go ahead and show that. So you're gonna flip over to your belly's up, and you're gonna hit the throttle analog key to slow down, or you can hold your descend or your S key. All right. So throttle analog, G, pitch down, and then just hold space. And that's basically it. And you can throw in some afterburner in there for a greater effect, you know, to go a lot greater distance. So I'll go ahead and do that again, just real quick. Throttle, barrel roll, pitch down, space. Still the same effect. I started pitching down a little early, but not that big of a difference whenever you want to do it. Okay, here we go. Boom. And that's the barrel roll reverse maneuver. Alright, well that's about it for this video then. That's all I wanted to show you, just that quick maneuver. Not much to it, pretty easy to learn and master. Next.
Yeah, and so that is another one. I know some of you are like, oh, another reverse maneuver video, but for some people have not seen it yet. So for those of you who haven't, congratulations, there you go. Definitely go check out that video and give it a thumbs up. And we're gonna close out the show with a final wonderful video from Lil Babs. And first of all, go check out that video. It's ESF Flight Academy number 3 Barrel Roll Reverse Maneuver by the Pontic Mercenary. And he has been making a couple videos here and there, so just definitely go give him a follow and sub. And let's finish the night off with one of these wonderful videos. He always makes fantastic videos, so you should check out Lil Babs and give him a thumbs up. I will post the link after this video is played. Do I even need to say anything about that video? It is lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. The end credits are really cool how he does it as well. But go ahead and give that a thumbs up if you're watching that live. From Here We Go Sublime by Lil Babs is what it's called. Go ahead and YouTube that. If you're watching this as a recap, show some love for our fellow community members, and if you want to see more videos like that, definitely go support our streamers and our YouTubers, all of these guys who make all these videos. They do it out of their own time, right? So the best way that you can repay them is by giving them a thumbs up, giving them a view, subscribing to their channels, and, you know, helping share their videos, because that means more people get to enjoy lovely things like that. I mean, that video goes to my heart. I love it. All right, so I want to say farewell to you all. I know you don't want the stream to end, but it must, because I am hungry. I would like some dinner. It is like 9 p.m. for me. I've been here for too long. Usually we stream from 5 to 7 p.m. PDT right here on this channel every Friday, so be sure to tune in. There will be more lovely action. Sometimes I go a little longer because I want to show off some videos or whatnot, so keep subscribing and keep putting those videos to us. I want to give some thank yous to all of the guests who joined me. RadarX, thank you so much, your community manager, for joining me and doing the what's new and all the news for PlanetSide 2 every week. He's been trying to get on here every week and doing that. And I want to say thank you because I like that. And I also want to say thank you to the panelists who were here for like 2 hours, man. We just talked about competitive gameplay and PlanetSide 2 and where we saw it and what things are going on and how you guys can be more involved, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Seems like a lot of you enjoyed it. And that is going to be Klyka, Vengeance D, KidRiot, and Ender. All of you were wonderful. You did a great job kind of representing us as a community here. And to all of you who have submitted to Player Direct, and you guys can submit yourselves if you haven't yet, which is soe.com/player-direct. And then also, huge thank you to all of you who have submitted things through the PlanetSide 2 Friday Night Ops section, because there's also submission forms there. So now it is time to tell you why you want to subscribe to this channel. You want to subscribe to this channel because we have streams for you almost every day. It's insane. It's insane. Well, follow. We don't really have a subscribe button. See, it's free. You don't even have to pay us. So bi-weekly on Mondays, we have a Inside the Player Studio, and this is run by Tremel Isaac, who is our senior art director, and he kind of goes over all the really cool things that people are doing in Player Studio. He'll give some tips. He'll bring in some people from our company all over the place and talk about Player Studio. So if you're interested in that, you should check that out. Basically, if you don't know what Player Studio is, you should go check it out, which is planetside2.com/player-studio, or you can check it out at soe.com/player-studio and see how you can be involved in it. It basically allows you to create things in the game and make money. So, yeah. Who doesn't want to do that? If you got the skills, why not? And some of these people have made $12,000+, and they're doing this as a side project or their main job outside of going to school. So, yeah. We also do a work in progress, and this is every Tuesday at 3 p.m. PDT right here. We have various different designers who come on. They do work. We also have artists. We also have level designers. We have all kinds of different people who come on here, and they do work. You just get to watch them work, and they talk you through it, and you can give them tips. Well, not tips, but like kind of, you can see what they're building. Let's say if they're building something in level design, you could be like, oh, I really wish there was a fence there. And they'll be like, well, this is the reason why we don't want a fence there. Or they'll be like, that's a great idea. Now you has fence. So, yeah, why not? And then we have Community Clash, which we've been doing every Wednesday. Obviously, we're going to have a little bit of a lull unless we stream some of the preseason stuff. But Community Clashes on Wednesdays from 6 p.m. PDT till about 8 p.m. PDT. Don't forget, though, it's this Saturday that we're going to have World Finals, which is NA versus EU. That is Das Anfall versus Mercenaries, and it's going to be an insane fight. And I believe that's 11 a.m., so you guys want to check that out right here on this channel. And we have our next thing, which is going to be Command Center, which is every second Thursday of the month, and it usually starts around 4 p.m. PDT. Sometimes the time changes, but it's hosted by Tremel Isaac and Matt Higbee, who are hilarious. You do not want to miss it. They do some sneak peeks. They also have all kinds of different segments that you'll want to watch. And don't forget to follow us on all the social networks. All of them. We are PlanetSide 2 everywhere. We are on Facebook. We are on Twitter. We're on Google+. We're everywhere. Your mom's probably subscribed, so why aren't you? I don't know. Anyways, I also do lots of things. Yeah, lots of things, all the things. You can go check out all my things at margaretcrone.com, and I have all my social links there, as well as all the little projects that I do on the side of just working here as a game developer at SOE. And if you want to be part of Friday Night Ops, well, guess what? You can be. So go to What is this Friday Night Ops you speak of thread on the PlanetSide 2 forums, right underneath the Friday Night Ops section, or you can even go to planetside2.com/Friday-Night-Ops, and all the news, all the information is right there for you guys. So I want to say thank you so much for tuning in tonight, and hopefully you tune in the future weeks, because we always will have some fantastic things. I believe next week we're going to try to spotlight some Briggs outfits. So if you are a Briggs outfit, you should definitely fill out that form and submit. So we'll see you guys next week. Toodaloo!
Sony.